Peace. Quickly. Think fast. Think about when the ego becomes, dangerous to society. There's a bunch of different things that, where the ego serves its purpose, for better or the worse, the ego serves its purpose. That's one thing, you know what I'm saying? There's no good or bad. So when we look at the things that we may do in the light of being in our ego on a, lower vibrational level, it's still some type of lesson that comes out of it for us or somebody else or something. Some type of growth come out of us being in our ego, you know what I'm saying? Well, again, whether it's for somebody to interact with us, and because we in our ego, we cause them to learn a lesson from something, or, us being in our ego, we'll wake up to something new, as far as just like, with the oppressor, light and dark, like it's two sides to one coin, so there's no bad or good things of this nature. But I think about one of the main reasons, or one of the main aspects of the ego, that's detrimental to society, is that part of the ego that wants to identify so much that even when it's backed against facts and it's backed against things that, could prove the ego to be wrong or prove that identity to be wrong, it's when that person still want to hold on to that identity. Because matter of fact, when I'm speaking to ego, in essence, and especially in this case, I'm talking about our humanity's need, in essence, to want to identify, you know what I'm saying? Because again, you got healthy identification, where I identify with myself enough to know that when I get hungry, instead of putting a spoon in somebody else's mouth, I put it in my mouth. But then you got the ego that wants to identify so much to where when you got facts that prove its identity to be wrong, it's still like trying to, hold on to that lie, even when facts against it, kind of the main thing I think of a Christian, where you let them know the letter J didn't exist for Jesus to exist, the English language about 300 years old, and it's written in English, the book is 2,000 years old, you let them know all these things that stacked against the Bible, that they don't have a woman in there, and obviously, a woman is what we come from, you know what I'm saying? No matter male or female, male has nipples because he comes from a female, so why isn't a female mentioned in the Bible? When you just back all these things against a certain, a person, and then their identity still want to hold on to a certain situation, that's the part of the ego that got society in the rut right now, you know what I'm saying? Like, is that part of the ego that wants to identify even when, it's, everything, the identity, it's, how can I say, the jig is up, as far as like identifying, like, and it creates a certain closed-mindedness, and it stops a person from growing, because, and two, that like older people have that vibe too, like where you present them like, hey, say for instance they grew up thinking weed was bad, then I present you with the fact that, hey, CBD helps with seizures, it helps cure cancer, or letting the person know about food, where you might want to stop eating meat because you see kale does this, and soursop helps for cancer, and all these different things, moringa, and if they strong in their identity, they're gonna be like, well, I don't, what I'm saying, I don't want to deal with that or this and that, because I'm eating meat, and that's the way I've been doing it, and so or with the weed, like, I know all that weed shit bad, I don't care what they say about it, it's a person being ignorant to, new information that proves itself to be factual, you know what I'm saying? When I say proves itself to be factual, meaning that it has more facts or more information lined up with it than the current position that the person holding with something else, kind of, again, like with Christianity, where, again, you got water erosion on the Sphinx from 10,000 years ago, You know, you got pyramids still standing, but nobody can even find a slipper from Jesus. You know what I'm saying? If he existed. You know, you got the fact that there were two Nicene councils, you know, where they revised the Bible, you know what I'm saying? And you think about all these things, you know, and honestly, me bringing up this part of, like, you know, like dealing with the ego that want to ignore facts, it has to do with, you know, the people with the Christian vibe, you know, because it becomes like a disease for somebody to, you know, it's like if somebody, you know, skin all scarred up, and you like, hey man, your skin all scarred up, man, let me come help you and, you know, take you to the hospital. And no, my skin ain't scarred up. You know, it's like, damn, you know, niggas trying to help you, you know, and you're in denial, so that harms you. You know, that type of denial is harmful, you know, as far as like identifying with something so much that, you know, that it creates a certain type of ignorance. And I got videos that I made about this in the past, which I'm gonna have to make a playlist, because I definitely want this to reach like the parents, like the stubborn parents, or just the people who stubborn, because then you realize, like, you want to be stubborn about information, then you want to go teach somebody children, you know, then you want to tell your grandkids how to do this and do that. And like, I'm a realist. Like, I would tell my mama that, or anybody like in my family, like, you know, holding them old positions and trying to force that on my kids, or like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Like, holding those old positions, and, you know, and then matter of fact, you send your kids through the school system and they being taught all this old shit because people in their egos about old information. You know, and a person not really getting real knowledge, because again, somebody being stubborn on with information they don't want to let go of, even with facts that prove that they should let go of this information. So it's like, who's the smart one? Who's the mature one? You know, parents tell a kid that they should grow and do this and do that, but then they get to a certain point where they want to stop growing and they want to stop accepting new information, but then at the same time want to be in a position to tell you what to do or give advice. And it's like, you know, either you update your software, you know, either you get the Windows XP, or you become outdated. Like, everybody upgrading to the next level of software, it don't serve no purpose for us to you know, unless we referencing some old shit. You know what I'm saying? Unless we referencing some shit where we need to know, like, all right, what was going on Windows 98, you know? Then we go to a computer that's still running on Windows 98 to see what Windows 98 is all about, you know what I'm saying? Because even down to the Bible situation where, you know, again, and I have to catch myself, because I realize with the eclipse energy is bringing back that energy up of me feeling some kind of way about people being Bible thumpers, and I just gotta let people be. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's a slick little dance that's, you know, expected out of myself from my higher self in those situations of, like, you know, falling back, but to a certain extent, you know, like, share truth, but don't make it into a debate or make it into a situation where I'm trying to convert that person. Like, you know, if they that lost in the lie of it, you know, you gotta let them be. And everybody on their own growth and learn how they want to learn and deal with what they want to deal with. You know what I'm saying? So if somebody's you know, still dealing with the Bible on the level where they're not opening up to the bigger facts, that's another thing too. You know, somebody wrote it where it's a copy of ancient texts. You know, somebody wrote it where they decoded stuff about the stars, stuff about the inside of your body, you know, because that's where the contradiction come at too. You know, that again, and that me being in that lower vibration of feeling like, you know, like wanting to put everybody onto the truth type of vibes, you know, but where, you know, you have the facts of that, and where some people be like, oh yeah, I know it's deeper symbolism, but then still follow the Bible in a manner of, like, John said that Peter went down the street and fed the lambs, you know, Peter said, if thou shall not do that. And it's like, man, it's more to the Bible than just those words, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, and that's just my little rant, I fall back again, to each his own on your growth, whether you get some truth, because the truth gonna uprise anyway. That's what I like about having a platform like this, where, or just in general, where I don't have to fuss with nobody. I just fall back and go to my YouTube channel and make a truthful video about the situation, and it'll resonate with people. So as I'm making a video that resonate with more and more people, it'll be harder and harder for people like that to exist. So I don't have to fuss with that person. I just have to make everybody, aware and help everybody become more intelligent in that area, and that will help to decrease those type of people, indirectly. So, that's why, again, I always use the analogy of if you got a problem with a purple shirt, it's not your job to go around telling everybody to take off a purple shirt. It's your job to go within yourself and see why you don't like purple shirts. You gotta do the inner work. You can't be walking around like, hey, take off that purple shirt, or I don't like. I mean, you could tell people I don't like it because of your purple shirt or whatever, but I mean, you gotta go within. People gonna still wear their purple shirts, and rightfully so. Like, if I like the color purple, I'm not gonna take off my shirt because you don't like it. Like that's something you gotta go inside and deal with. But definitely that's just that part. So we want to make sure we just sharing information, keeping people educated, for lack of a better word. I don't like using the word educate, because you could educate somebody to some dumb shit in essence, but definitely sharing information with people so they could become aware of these. More people become aware of things, the less that type of ego could exist. Because again, that's a very dangerous, not quote unquote dangerous, but as far as on a conscious level, to have people who you could prove to them a certain situation. Like, say for instance, Jehovah's Witness, you can't tell them that brethren, that white brethren who they say started all this stuff, you can't tell them that he ain't started. You know what I'm saying? Here it is that when you look around, the only person that could have a kid of all races, colors, and creeds is a black woman. Could have an albino kid. When I say black, melanated, because that could be a melanated person in South America, Africa, Asia. It could be a melanated person from anywhere, as long as they, of a certain level of melanin. And you would have to go into looking at the different OCA. The OCA 1 and OCA 2 is different forms of albinoisms, and different ones stem from a certain different genetics. You'll have to check that out. But which I think I did do a video on that a while back as well. But what I was gonna say, it was something about black people doing something. I don't know. I get back to it. Maybe it wasn't that important. But we was talking about for sure, like making people conscious of, like conscious and aware of getting away from that ego that could, the stubborn ego that doesn't want to accept information. Oh, the Jehovah's Witness situation. I knew it was gonna come back. That's why I just started talking again. Well, the evidence shows that a melanated person produces, albino person. So that would mean no matter how far back you go, and then when you look around, there's no, non-melanated person producing melanated people. So, how could you take that position of this so-and-so guy, starting everything? But that's what it says in their words, and You know, that's how it's gonna come off. You know, and all is mind. So that's where the Catholic religion tried to get a hold of that situation. They knew all is mind on the esoteric level. So if they became evangelists and crusaded enough, they could get everybody to, you know, believe in what they believe in, and it would turn into a reality, you know. But that's basically it. That stubborn ego and just being aware of, not say being aware of it, but, you know, just like, that's that part of the ego that really hinders growth. Not only for that individual going through that situation, but, you know, for the masses, if we allow for that type of vibration to, you know, be the majority around us. And with that being said, because I'm trying to keep everything in full circle, I mean, we ain't supposed to let our heart weigh heavier than a feather on this situation and be like, oh, you know, like overly worrying about everybody else on the level where, you know, again, where your heart will weigh heavier. You know, you do your inner work, deal with yourself, and then, you know, you share with others. You know, as your cup runneth over of information, you know, you share, you know, but in essence, like, I just always say that to always allow for people to remember that our ascension and our spiritual growth is just about that, about us ascending and us growing spiritually. And it's not about necessarily you having to help everybody in the world or save the children or do that. Like, it's just you doing your inner work. Now, indirectly from you doing your inner work and you becoming a certain type of being, that's gonna, you know, shed on other people. You know, that energy is gonna affect others in general. But for the most part, you know, your job is like, all right, the only way I could ascend is if I just worry about helping others all the time. You know, it's like, nah, you know, you need to program your subconscious to know that you are God past being a human, you know, first and foremost, and continue to work on that, you know, and then whatever happens from there, you know, that would be the byproduct. But peace, happy now. Now is a vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future, not going too far in the past. Right now.